In other news this morning, when Black History Month first began, the goal was to shine a light on the stories in history so often forgotten, people glossed over in school lessons and left out of history books. Well, one Philadelphia woman has made it her life's mission to change that, educating tens of thousands along the way.
So much happened to my ancestors, and that so much happened to people of African descent in this nation that they were so taken advantage of. And so you come out of that frustrated, I think, and angry. And the question is, what do you do with that anger? And so I decided that I wanted to channel that into education.
That passion is what sparked Adrienne Whaley's career, unearthing the unknown stories of American history, Black American history in particular.
The smallest stories are so fascinating to me, especially because, you know, so often the stories that we hear are of the sort of big names in history.
Whaley is the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Museum of the American Revolution in Philadelphia.
This is a story that people tend not to think about,
where she created the museum's signature school program, shared with more than 70,000 school children a year, teaching them history often overlooked in school curriculums.
Signed first edition copy.
Like the story of Phyllis Wheatley, a woman sold into slavery and later became an author and poet. Her autographed book is displayed at the museum. What was your goal when you got into this line of work?
We believe that an accurate story is a diverse story. That's the only way that you get the fullness of the picture. Right? Children are complex. Children are intelligent. Children are resilient. Right? And so they can handle the difficult stories. We have conversations with our youngest visitors about slavery and enslavement. We have conversations about equality. We talk about what is fairness. What does it mean to treat somebody in an equal manner? Themes
the Philly native first took interest in as a student at the prestigious Masterman School. It led her to studying African American studies at Harvard and later a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Then stints at the Philadelphia Freedom Schools and the African American Museum in Philly.
Essentially, most of my adult life has been me finding different ways to make sure that people have access to the stories and the resources to make sure that this history is not forgotten and that we can do better in the future.
With the unrest the country has seen over the last year, Whaley's work has become even more critical. Why do you think it's so important that people, all Americans, are aware of Black American history?
How do we ever expect people to have complex conversations about the present if we don't equip them to do that in the past? The better we equip people to have complex conversations, the better able those folks are to create the kind of world that I think we all deserve to live in.
She is just doing amazing work. Her work reaches more than 70,000 students a year, and she's working on making that even more accessible online so that more students and people of all ages can benefit. And Whaley is also very much involved in the African American genealogy research here in the Philadelphia region. She's a name to look out for, Jim. She's doing big stuff here in the region and across the country, too.